So this worksheet is a fractions review that we're going to go over. So the first part is simplifying fractions. So to simplify fractions, you need to find the biggest number that will divide into both the numerator and the denominator. So the numerator is the top number and the denominator is the bottom number. Okay, so here's our numerator right there, and here's our denominator right there. So for number 1, we have 12 and 20. So the biggest number that can go into 12 and 20 is 4. So we're going to divide the numerator and the denominator by 4. Okay, 12 divided by 4 is 3, and 20 divided by 4 is 5. So our simplified fraction is 3 over 5. Okay, number 2, we have 21 over 28. Okay, so we need to figure out what the biggest number is that goes into 21 and 28. So what's the biggest number or the least common denominator that goes into 21 and 28? So we have to think of the numbers that go into 21 and 28. So what are the numbers that go into 21? The numbers that divide into 21 are 3. 3 doesn't go into 28. What else goes into 21? 7. 7 does go into 28. So we are going to divide both numbers by 7. So we get 3 over 4. So that's one method of doing it. Find the numbers that go into the smallest number and see if that also goes into the biggest number, and you want to find the biggest one that does that. Okay, so for helpful hints, you're going to list numbers, also known as factors, of the smallest number and find the largest one that divides into both. Okay, so number 3, 35 and 75. Well, what numbers divide into 35? 5. Does 5 go into 75? Yes, it does. What else goes into 35? 7. Does 7 go into 75? No. What else goes into 35? Nothing that I can think of. 5 times 7, 35. But 35 doesn't go into 75, so I'm thinking it's 5. So let's do 5 and 5. So I'm going to get 7, and 75 divided by 5 is 1/15, so it's 7 over 15. Okay, so that's how you do simplifying fractions. Okay, moving on. Multiplying fractions. Okay, so to multiply fractions, you multiply straight across, but then you have to simplify. There's also another trick to doing it. If you can simplify across, you're allowed to do that. Okay, so the first thing you can do is multiply across, then simplify your answer. And I will show you that in number 1. Okay, so for number 1, you multiply straight across. 3 times 6 is 18. 4 times 7 is 28. And then we would need to simplify 18 and 28. So what number divides into 18 and 28? So what numbers divide into 18? 2. 2 goes into 18 and 28, but is that the biggest one? Then I have 6 goes into 18, but it doesn't go into 28. 9. Let's see, what else goes into 18? 3. Is it 2? 9 and... oh wait, maybe it is 2. So let's do divide by 2. Divide by 2. So I get 9 over 14. And that's my answer simplified. Okay. Then there's another way that you can do it. You could simplify within your fraction. Numerators and denominators. Then multiply across. Okay, so I'm going to show you that in number 2. So in number 2, I can simplify across because 3 simplifies into 9. So 3 divided by 3 is 1. Oops, that didn't write. And 9 divided by 3 is 1. Is 3. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 12 divided by 2 is 6. Now I can multiply across with my new numbers. 1 times 3, right here, 1 times 3 is 3. And 1 times 6, excuse me, is 6. Oops, we missed a pair. Oh, jeezy jeezy, because 3 over 6 simplifies. By 3. So my final answer is 1/2. And the pair we missed is right here, 3 over 6. We still had a pair in our problem. Okay, and finally number 3. Number 3 looks tricky because we have a whole number and a fraction, but really that whole number can be written as a fraction. You just put it over 1. Okay, so we really have 7 over 1 times 3 over 4. So we're going to do, there is no cross canceling that we can do because 7 over 4 doesn't cancel. Right there. And 1 and 3 doesn't cancel, so we just have to multiply across. So we're going to do 7 times 3. That's 21. And 1 times 4, that's 4. So our answer is 21 over 4. And in algebra, we're just going to leave it that way. Okay, so that's multiplying fractions. And last but not least is adding and subtracting fractions. And with adding and subtracting fractions, you have to find a least common denominator. You must have common denominators. If your denominators are not the same, you cannot add them. You have to make them the same. Okay? So, in all of these, our denominators are not the same. We have to create common denominators. So, you need to find your LCM, or your lowest common denominator. Okay? And we've done this in some of our PDNs. So in number 1, our lowest common denominator well, let me backtrack, hold on. You guys like doing it this way. You want to get your common denominators by multiplying those two, right? So you want to take this one and multiply by 8, and you like to do this one and multiply by 4, right? Is that what you guys like to do? So you're going to do 24 over 32 plus 4 over 32. Now that your denominators are the same, they stay the same. So you're going to get 28 over 32. Correct? Now we need to always simplify, which was the first section in this. You cannot leave it that way. So what number goes into 28 and 32? Okay, we need to find that number. So find the numbers that divide into 28. So 2 goes into 28, but that's too small. 4 goes into 28. It also goes into 32, so that's a possibility. 7 goes into 28, but not into 32. I'm thinking it's 4, so let's do 4. Divide by 4. So we're going to get 7 over 8. That's our answer. Okay, number 2. So you'll do this times 4. You'll do this times 6. That's supposed to be a 6. So you're going to get 20 over 24 minus 18 over 24. The 24 stays the same, and you're going to get 2. 20 minus 18 is 2. Now we have to simplify. We're going to divide by 2. I hope that's obvious to everybody. Maybe not. And you're going to get 1 over 12. And for number 3, you're going to multiply this one by 8. You'll multiply this one by 3. So you'll get 16 over 24 plus 21 over 24. 24 stays the same. 16 plus 24 is 37. Now, does that simplify? The answer to that is no. So that's our answer. You just leave it that way in algebra. Okay, so now you guys have the Jeopardy games to play on Google Classroom. So find a partner and play those and post the results. Good luck.